Yes, the normal rules do not apply to them and they think that they are special. The verdict of the investigation into the Lincolnshire-based Red Arrows, what should be a national display team to be proud of, was a toxic culture often fuelled by alcohol where predatory behaviour towards women was widespread and normal. The report came out at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and while the head of the RAF says that there is no plan to disband the Red Arrows, others are unsure about their future. Philip Norton has this report.
They wow crowds at air shows across the country, punctuate landmark ceremonies at the very highest level, and are used as a marketing tool to sell Great Britain to the world. But away from the undoubted skill in the cockpits, according to today's report, an appalling toxic culture, often fuelled by alcohol, existed within the Red Arrows squadron, which left female members feeling unsafe. The investigation found women were subject to unwanted physical contact, sexual text messages, being viewed as property by members of the display team, and incidents where genitals were exposed. This is the report published this afternoon. Within its 72 pages, it details how the predatory behaviour towards women was normalised and widespread. There are many examples throughout. We'd like to share more, but as you can see, much of it is covered, heavily covered, and kept secret. The RAF does admit that part of the problem may be down to members feeling that they were special and that normal rules and behaviours didn't apply to them. But victims have been quick to criticise the report. One spoke to BBC Look North this afternoon. She wants to remain anonymous.
I was sexually harassed on the squadron and I reported it. They turned on me like a pack of rabid dogs in their attempts to brush it under the carpet. I chose to leave what should have been a dream job because they treated me so badly. It wasn't a safe place for women to work.
Others have agreed, and now a question over whether the Red Arrows should be grounded for now. Philip Ingram speaks on behalf of victims.
I don't think the Red Arrows should be scrapped because I think they add huge value to UK PLC, the United Kingdom as a country, and to the RAF and to defence. But I do think that there should be a pause where everything is looked at and reorganised and the cultural change is started, rather than doing it whilst they're trying to maintain a very busy flying schedule. That the priority will always be on the flying and the display, not to get the culture changed. And my concern is that the culture will never change then.
2 pilots have already been sacked. 5 other members of the Red Arrows team have also faced action. The head of the RAF says there are no plans to disband the Red Arrows. The Royal Air Force will be hoping today's report puts an end to years of speculation about the scale of the problems within the squadron. But victims want promises the culture has changed. Philip Norton, BBC Look North.
Well, as the report was published, we asked people in Lincoln how they felt about the findings.
It's just not really acceptable that people who are very prominent in British culture really are doing stuff like that.
I mean, it happens every day, really. I've had it before at places at my old work, but you just kind of told to carry on with it. So yeah, it's not like a big surprise that that is happening. And not that it makes it not okay, but it's just more normal than I think a lot of people realise.
If it is a genuine thing, people obviously have the right to complain and it should be highlighted, but I do wonder how much of it is overreaction.
Talking about this actually, in the car coming here, sort of behaviours change because you just accepted that kind of thing really, but nowadays people are, can't do that, etc., and it seems almost as if it's a bit of a fashion thing.
How do you feel about hearing that? Uncomfortable, if I'm honest, because obviously they've been praised for doing everything. We relocate them to keep them safe and everything like that, and then for things like this to come out, yeah, that's quite a shock.
People's views in Lincoln late this afternoon after the report came out. I spoke to Sir Edward Lee, a Lincolnshire Conservative MP, about today's report into the Red Arrows. Sir Edward, does this behaviour that has been widespread and normalised in the Red Arrows, does it actually surprise you?
I suspect in the past, and many of us have served in the Territorial Army or the RAF or whatever, we know that perhaps this sort of attitude may have gone on in the past, and perhaps women were shy about coming forward, but quite rightly now, they're no longer shy. And I think we live in a very different culture in this part of the 21st century than we did even a few years ago. It's actually very good that these women have come forward.
The RAF think part of the problem is the Red Arrows are special and rules don't apply to them. Something has gone very wrong here, hasn't it? And there has obviously been a bystander approach of, just looking the other way.
I think it may be a problem in many elite forces. We've had problems with some elite force diplomatic protection in the police and everything. Perhaps if you're part of a very elite unit, and everybody looks up to you and thinks you're the bee's knees, perhaps you think
that's no excuse.
Perhaps you think you get away with this sort of behaviour. I don't know.
Well, it's no excuse, though, is it?
It's what, sorry?
It's no excuse, is it?
It's absolutely no excuse. And I think we've just got to learn from this sort of thing that whatever position you're in, whether you're in an elite unit or not, if you're part of a national institution, it's really about traditional good manners. You treat women really well, whatever your station in life, and you don't use any position of power to, dominate them in any way. So it is a sort of rather sad day, but we've had it in many other institutions. And I should say that the Red Arrows is greater than, whoever happens to be serving it at the present time. The Red Arrows will carry on, and they'll continue to be a greatly loved institution. Is
it time now? I hear what you say, but isn't it time now, with this news, to disband the Red Arrows and get rid of them? Because they're tarnished now, and this has damaged them.
No, it's absolutely not the time to get rid of the Red Arrows any more than it was time to get rid of parts of the Met Police when standards fell below. The Red Arrows is a aerobatic display team. It is about huge technical competence, and it will go on. It's a standard bearer for the UK. The people who indulge in this sort of behaviour fell below the sort of standards we accept. They will be called to account and disciplined, and the Red Arrows will carry on. And no doubt the pilots will carry on in the future, and they'll be just as brilliant a pilot as they were before.
Sir Edward, good to talk to you tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, Peter.